Did you know the term pharaoh didn't always mean king? In the earliest times, it referred to the royal palace, the great house. Only later did it become the title for the king himself, the god walking among mortals. Join me as I take you on a journey through the lives of Egypt's mighty rulers, from the first pharaohs to the last, uncovering the secrets of their power, legacy, and eternal fascination. Today we dive into astonishing truths that reveal the power, mystery, and glory of Egypt's divine rulers. Our journey begins with a look at the childhood origins of some of the most powerful pharaohs in history. Some pharaohs were crowned as children. Tutankhamun took the throne at just 9 years old, a boy god whose short reign became eternal when his tomb was discovered nearly untouched. And it wasn't only men who ruled. Hatshepsut, a queen who became king, reigned for over 2 decades. She wore a ceremonial beard and ruled as effectively as any man, commissioning temples and trade routes that brought wealth and power. We delve deeper into the beliefs that made the pharaoh more than just a ruler. The pharaoh wasn't just a ruler. He was a living god. Egyptians believed each king was the incarnation of Horus during life and Osiris in death. His divine blood justified his authority and elevated his word to sacred law. To understand the pharaoh's role, we must go back to the very beginnings of this divine legacy. The first pharaoh to unify the land was Narmer, also known as Menes, around 3100 BC. He brought together Upper and Lower Egypt, creating the world's first great nation-state and beginning the first dynasty. Every pharaoh held not one, but 5 royal names. These names reflected their divine origin, their role as ruler, and their eternal mission to uphold cosmic order. Known as Mahat, many claimed divine birth, stating their mothers were visited by gods like Amen or Ra. This wasn't metaphorical. It was a sacred narrative that justified their right to rule. This divine bloodline was so important that many royal families practiced sibling marriage. Even Cleopatra VII married her brothers, not for love, but to secure her throne and the ancient traditions behind it. Now let's meet some of the most famous pharaohs in history and the battles they fought. Thutmose III was Egypt's greatest military strategist. He led 17 campaigns, never lost a battle, and expanded the Egyptian empire farther than any ruler before or after him. Some call him the Napoleon of ancient Egypt. Before the iconic pyramids of Giza, Pharaoh Sneferu experimented with form. He built the Bent Pyramid, the Red Pyramid, and others, perfecting the shape that would become Egypt's most iconic symbol. And standing guard over the Giza Plateau is the Great Sphinx, carved from a single block of limestone. Most believe it bears the face of Khafre, a silent guardian of the pharaoh's eternal realm. But our journey through Pharaonic Egypt wouldn't be complete without exploring the mysteries surrounding their burial rituals. After pyramid tombs proved too tempting for thieves, pharaohs were buried in hidden tombs in the Valley of the Kings, deep in the cliffs, protected by secrecy. Tutankhamun's tomb was forgotten for over 3,000 years. The discovery of these magnificent tombs gives us a glimpse into the beliefs and practices surrounding death and the afterlife. Amenhotep III ruled during Egypt's most prosperous era. He commissioned hundreds of temples and statues, including the Colossi of Memnon. His reign was peaceful, his wealth unmatched. But the story of Amenhotep III leads us to one of the most radical changes in Egyptian history. His son, Akhenaten, changed everything. He closed the temples, banned Egypt's many gods, and demanded worship of one deity only, Aton the sun disk. It was history's first known monotheistic revolution. Yet his reign wasn't without controversy. After his death, everything changed. Akhenaten's name was erased, and the old gods were restored. His son, Tutankhamun, was forced to undo his father's reforms to bring back stability. As the pharaohs aged, they needed a way to renew their power and connection to the gods. To renew the pharaoh's power, a sacred ritual called the Sed Festival was celebrated after 30 years of reign. And every few years after that, Amenhotep III held 3 of them, long before reaching old age. Exploring the lengths some rulers went to maintain their power and legacy. Not all rulers were honored forever. Some were deliberately erased from history. Hatshepsut's stepson chiseled her name from temple. It was called Damnatio. The story of Seti I takes us to the heart of one of the most beautiful tombs ever found. His tomb at Deir el-Bahari is adorned with golden stars on its ceilings and walls covered in sacred texts that guided the pharaoh through the underworld. Now let's unravel the symbolism of the pharaoh's regalia and the meaning behind their iconic headdress. The crowns the pharaohs wore were more than decoration. The white crown stood for Upper Egypt, the red for Lower Egypt, and together they formed the double crown symbol of unified rule. The pharaoh also held the crook and flail, tools of protection and punishment. Their regalia wasn't just about symbols, it was about connecting to the divine right to rule. Now let's delve into the mysteries of the afterlife and the rituals surrounding the pharaohs. The pyramids weren't just tombs, they were also astronomical wonders. The Great Pyramid aligns with true north and mirrors the stars of Orion's belt, symbol of Osiris. Mummification wasn't for everyone. Only royalty and elites received the 70-day process, with sacred oils, natron salts, and spells to guard the soul. Not all kings followed the traditional path to the throne. Some, like Setnek, seized the throne during chaos, restoring order through force and will. As we continue our journey, we'll encounter pharaohs who left their mark on the landscape itself. The pharaoh is always lord of the two lands, Upper and Lower Egypt, and each rebellion or flood tested his ability to hold them together. Some built desert palaces, filled with pools, gardens, and exotic animals. Pharaohs not only ruled nature, they recreated it for pleasure. Amenhotep III turned barren desert into fertile fields, transforming the Fayum Depression into Egypt's breadbasket. Our exploration of ancient Egypt reveals a land of intrigue, power struggles, and even betrayal. By the late New Kingdom, tomb robbers plundered royal graves. Priests rescued mummies, hiding them in secret caches. One held over 40 kings, discovered centuries later. But some pharaohs remained shrouded in mystery. Smenkhkare ruled briefly, but no one knows if he was Akhenaten's son, brother, or even Nefertiti herself under a new name. Each king had a spiritual double, aka, which needed daily offerings long after death. Temples kept feeding their Ka for centuries. On the pharaoh's brow sat a cobra, the uraeus representing the goddess. She protected him, striking down enemies with divine flame. Even kings consulted the gods. Before major decisions, they turned to oracles, divine signs through priests that guided war, peace, and succession. Pharaohs weren't just powerful rulers. They were religious figures, military strategists, architects, and engineers. They built massive structures like the pyramids and temples, designed elaborate tombs, and planned entire cities. Their tombs were mazes of deception. False doors, sealed passages, and traps guarded their eternal sleep. Though few avoided looters in the end, some weren't content to wait for death. Ramses II declared himself a living god, commissioning statues where people brought offerings to him, as they would to Amen. Even natural forces were part of the pharaoh's domain. The old kingdom collapsed after years of drought and famine. When nature turned, the people believed the pharaoh had lost divine favor. And finally, Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt. The only Ptolemaic ruler who spoke the language of her people, she united the old gods with a new age. In the end, though Egypt fell under Roman rule, ending the reign of the pharaohs forever. The story of the pharaohs is a tapestry woven with threads of divinity, power, and human emotion. They were conquerors and scholars, lovers and rivals, gods and kings. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.